American Sign Language is a very valuable skill that over 1 million people in the U.S. use as communication. American Sign Language, or ASL, is a very important life skill, and you never know when you will encounter someone who speaks this way. About a month ago when I was at work, a man came in and I greeted him with the normal, "Hi, how are you?" He didn't say anything and he pointed to his ears. At first I was very confused and I kept talking. Again, he didn't say anything and he pointed to his ears. Then I realized he was deaf and I didn't know what to do and I didn't know how to communicate with him. So we ended up having him write his order down and we did it by writing. But I felt very bad I didn't know how to communicate with him. That's when I decided I was going to learn ASL over quarantine, at least a few signs to get me through a conversation. Who uses ASL in the community? What are the benefits of using it and using the public in using ASL? And how it benefits you personally to learn ASL? First, let's talk about who uses ASL. A March 2020 article by ASL.com stated that 500,000 people in the U.S. use ASL as a first language, which means when they were born, this is the first language they started speaking. 28 million people suffer some degree of hearing loss. 2 million are classified as deaf, which means they cannot hear everyday sounds or speech, even with hearing aids. And not all deaf people do communicate with ASL, but a lot of them do, and some read lips, but most use ASL. A graph by the Connecticut Public Radio from May 2019 shows a survey they did on students with hearing damage. A little over 5,000 do use signs every day in their family, but over 15,000 do not sign regularly in their home, which means when deaf kids are born into families, not a lot of families do know sign language. About 10% actually do know sign language. And that is why not only should we learn sign language if we work with the public, but we should also learn it because you never know what will happen. Out of the 2 million deaf people in the US, only 10% of them were actually born deaf. Next, what are the benefits of learning ASL? A July 2019 blog by Hear Me Out said that ASL is the third most used language in the world, which means it is commonly used and there's much of a higher chance that you will encounter someone that speaks this way. What are some benefits to learning ASL? Well, you can communicate with people from a different population of people, connect with more people, and give an experience to someone like everybody else is. I actually watched a video about a barista named Crystal Payne and a customer at Starbucks named Ibby Paracha. Ibby is deaf and communicates through ASL, and Crystal was very new there but noticed that he was a regular. When she first took Ibby's order, she wrote down everything, but then went home that night and spent 3 hours on YouTube learning a few signs in ASL. She said she learned enough to get them through the conversation. When Ibby walked in the next day, Crystal had written a note. The note said, "I've been learning ASL just so you can have the same experience as everyone else." Ibby was shocked, and the first place he went was social media, so everyone could see the kindness of this woman. In an interview with Ibby, he stated that navigating the hearing world is very frustrating sometimes, and this small change helped him out so much. And it was a very small act of kindness, and it made him genuinely happy. He stated that he is still smiling today because of it. And not only did this barista do that, but everyone can do that. If you work with the public, you can learn small phrases such as, "Hi, how are you? Anything else for you? What can I get you?" And "Have a great day." And anything else just to get you through a small conversation to make someone's day better or a little bit easier. Now, in my 2020 speech class survey, people stated that some other things you could learn are yes, no, my name is, and the alphabet, just in case you need to spell out anything that you don't know how to sign. Well, lastly, why knowing ASL benefits you personally. It strengthens your brain. A 2016 article by Healthy Hearing says that learning and being fluent in a second language can strengthen your brain and help your memory last longer. And it can help with early signs or limit early signs of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Now, also learning sign language can help with that career path. And really, you can go into anything. You can be a sign language instructor and go into preschool teaching and teach preschoolers that communicate through ASL or are deaf. You can go into psychology and be a psychologist for people who communicate with ASL. You can be a social worker, an employment specialist, a counselor, a therapist, and a teacher. And the list goes on and on. You can be anything you want. And not only can you follow your career path, but learning ASL can sometimes offer a higher pay raise, which it just depends how many people are in your have your skill range. And an article by the National Association of the Deaf by 2020, it states that you can learn ASL at your own pace. It can take about a year to learn the grammar and basics of ASL, so really anything that can get you through a conversation plus some more. And like every language, ASL has its own grammar rules. Which means you'll take time to learn those, but the signs are actually pretty easy to learn. And it can take around 3 years to be honestly not that long. And it doesn't take that long to learn, and it's super easy to learn. That's just one of the many reasons it is a great idea to learn ASL. In conclusion, ASL is used all over the world and it benefits you and many others. You can make someone's day better, have a connection with someone, and even learn something new while strengthening your brain. Knowing ASL is a very valuable skill in life and can help everyone around you. Now take that extra step, even if it's small. Start out with 1 or 2 signs, just enough to get you through a conversation, because even small things can make a ginormous difference.